So the one thing I wanted to talk about it, I've been listening to Michael Hyatt's podcast lately, and he had an article, and we were talking about time last week, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the time, how time is important to people, and the more you do, the less time you have, and if you try to be as efficient as possible with your time.
Right.
So he had a podcast entitled "If You Want to Be Successful, Be Less Accessible," and he had 7 steps for that, some of which I agree with or disagree with. But I know that in my own life, I've had issues with it because I don't respond to voicemails very quickly. I don't answer the phone when somebody calls me, and it's a lot of times it's because I'm in the middle of working, and I know that if I get distracted, I get taken way off course. And some people get offended by it, and I don't want that to happen. It's not that I don't want to talk to people. It's just that I know my limitations, so I try to.
Well, I think if you schedule the time throughout the day when you're going to get back to those people or something. I mean, if it's a planned, I wasn't available, but I that was in my schedules. And then people get to know a certain time or a certain way to reach you.
Yeah, I actually think that that's probably my fault, is that by the time it comes around for me to make those calls, I'm exhausted. So then I'm okay. I'll call tomorrow, and then I forget, and so
right.
Yeah.
I guess you have to treat it just like another part, another thing on your list to do throughout the day. You can't skip it. You have to schedule it in there and do it.
Right.
As hard as it may be.
Right. So his 7 steps, we'll hit them real quick. Acknowledge your resources are finite. So you can't do everything. And we talk about it here. If it's not a hell yeah, it's a hell no, right?
That's a good one.
I love that saying. Like, so if you're not all in on something, if you're sort of wishy-washy on whether you want to do this or do that, it's a no, and go do things that are more important. And the other statement is that if you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So if you're saying yes to, I'm going to go out with my friends tonight, you're saying no to, I want to hang out with my mom, or I want to hang out with my kids, or whatever. So number 2 is determine who needs access and who doesn't. So you're sort of who you have to prioritize, who the people in your life, like who needs to be able to contact you at certain times.
Right, like your biggest client, you probably don't want to put off that call. You probably want to, if somebody is a more valuable client or you have a better relationship with them, then you probably want to make them a priority.
See, now, and that bothers me, like that thought bothers me a little bit because,
why is that?
Well, because I like to treat all of our clients equally, right?
Right.
So when because from our perspective, they all pay us similar to what size they are, so they're all giving us the same sort of percentage. But that in reality, I know that mentality or that thought process is normal, right? I mean, like the client that pays you 5 times what somebody else does, that might be.
Or if they're a long-term client as opposed to a one-time project, then they would get the priority in my mind, because I mean, when it comes down to you only have an hour to do something and it needs to be done.
From a business concept, that 80-20 rule, you get 80% of your revenue from 20% of your clients, so you spend your time on those 20% of your clients. I struggle with it because I want everyone to feel important. I think where that comes into play is that when clients are calling, and I've run into this issue where clients call me and they want immediate response, and a lot of times I can't, because I'm actually working on something for them. So
that's funny.
Where I've set my time where I got this more from the 4-hour work week, where you set your 2 hours where I'm not going to come up for air, I'm not going to answer the phone, I'm not going to answer my emails, I'm just going to sit and do this thing. So I'm not getting phone calls, I'm on do not disturb, and I'm going at it. So at that point, nobody has access. right? Unless it's my wife and there's an emergency, then I can pull up. But yeah, it's.
Well, if you're in the zone working and you're like, yeah, I'm knocking out my to-do list, and then you have to take a call and it just completely knocks you off and you get sidetracked, and
Right.
next thing you know, you're like, oh,
Right.
I'll just do this tomorrow.
Right.
So
Yeah, you ran out of time.
Yeah, so you have to, I think the key, like, to decide who gets access and who doesn't, you have to plan. You have to plan who's going to get your access and
Right.
set time later for that.
Right.
And that has to be acceptable,
Right.
I guess.
And step number 3 is take practical steps to limit your accessibility. So that goes into that. So it's shut down. Don't let anybody contact you. Have a gatekeeper. Have a time when you can't be accessed, or you have a fake email address and people have to be the important people get the good email address. I don't know.
Well, that's sneaky.
I know. All of it seems a little sneaky to me. I don't know if all of it makes me just a little bit.
Be less successful.
Yeah. Make a list of common requests. I do like this one. I've not done it yet, but this is basically where if somebody commonly says to you, what do you think about this? Instead of retyping an email 3 paragraphs long, you have a form email where you respond to it. So if somebody says to us, what do you do as far as IT support is concerned, or what are your services in digital marketing? Instead of me typing up, well, we do this really well, and we're really good at doing this, and this is what we focus on, and this is why you want to use us. You just have that already.
Right. Or ideally have it on your website or on a specific page and you just link it. Or somewhere like that where they can go.
My feeling is it doesn't feel personal when you do like a form email or something like that. So, I'm still in that mode where I don't do this. I think it's probably a really good technique. I just don't. I still respond to everybody when they email me.
It is a good idea. I mean, you still might want to tailor it and customize it a little, but you won't have to spend half an hour. You can only spend 5 minutes or something like that.
Right.
Good tip.
Decide how you will respond to those requests. So then through email, Okay. So that's number 5. Number 6 is delegate to people you trust. So, and this is a good example of the relationship with you and I, right? So I trust that you are going to handle, we're dealing with a few clients right now where I don't need to be involved with a lot of the things going on. You're handling it, and then it's taken care of. And I can trust that you're going to do it the right way.
Yeah, I can get things to a certain level, and then I can present them to you rather than you being involved in every stage and along the way, and frees up a lot of time for you. So.
Yeah. The last one is accept the fact that you're going to be misunderstood.
No, I can't accept that.
I've tried. I've struggled with this for the past couple of years because there are times when people have said to me, answer your effing phone, right?
Really?
Yes. Or they'll text me right after they call. Do you ever answer your phone?
Okay.
And I don't answer my phone, especially during the workday. And it's hard, right? So during the workday, I don't answer my phone because I'm working, right? Mm-hmm. And then I'm going home and I'm with my kids.
Right.
So then I don't want to answer my phone then. So I have like when I'm driving home, then I'm talking on the phone. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's and people get mad, and it's not that I don't care about the person that's calling. It's just that I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard thing to manage.
I don't think anyone should get mad about that.
No, people do.
Especially if they know you and they know this is your work day, your family time. Yeah, that's kind of silly if you get mad over stuff like that.
People do.
My opinion.
People
I know.
do.
Oh, I know. My mom still yells at me for not answering my phone.